Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. Emperador, Maximiliano. I'm live streaming here on Edgeful on the YouTube channel for them. We've got an interesting day of trading coming up. For those of you that don't know me, I trade using Edgeful all the time. I trade mainly futures. NQ is my go-to, but I do keep an eye on several other things. This is the first stream that we're doing, so bear with us today as we get some stuff worked out. I have a brand new webcam that I got through Amazon on a Black Friday deal that is coming in today. So hopefully we'll have that one for tomorrow morning's stream, but for today we've got the old school laptop camera here. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this series of streams to kick off. We're looking to do this a couple times a week, so Wednesday and Thursday mornings. I'm going to start about this time just so we can get the day set up going into the opening bell. And then we'll trade we'll do about 2 hours total on these streams on Wednesday and Thursdays. Dean, I see you in the chat. CC in the chat with the avocado. Appreciate the support, guys. And welcome. Good morning. So first off, my favorite tool that Edgeful has is this What's in Play, and that's what I'm going to be highlighting a lot on the stream, as well as some of the reports that I look at for Confluence, and then we'll keep an eye on the markets and how it's moving and everything. For those of you that trade individual tickers, I do keep an eye on a lot of those as well, but I am mostly focused on QQQ and NQ, and then SPY, SPX, ES, all of that as well. If we find some opportunities over in RTY, if we find something, the IWM Russell, maybe the Dow every once in a while, who knows? But we'll keep an eye on all of it. I am pretty in tune with all of the news that's going on, everything that's moving around in the market happening. So if you are trading other things, I'll make sure and keep you informed on that as well. I have a squawker service that plays in one ear while I've got spaces and stuff going in the other ear. I process a lot of information rapidly. The Duck Dynasty beard. Yeah, I see you guys down in the chat. We appreciate you guys joining. Where are we at this morning? So we got about just over 5 minutes till the open here. If we take a look, first things first, QQQ, overnight session gap. Previous day close is where right in here. So previous day close, we have a gap now. The first thing I look at on these gaps is the size, which as we open the market, we'll see how big this really is. But it looks like we're going to have anywhere from 0.6 to 0.75, somewhere in there, size gap. I use this measuring tool. When it comes to the gap, here's the gap fill report. Let's look at it by size on QQQ. I'm actually going to switch and get like a year's worth of data here. All right. And as you can tell, when the size of the gap changes, the probabilities of us filling those come way down. 56% basically, somewhere between these two reports on a gap up. There's actually basically an even to like a coin flip. Probably about a coin flip probability that we come down and fill the gap all the way to here. So first thing I'm going to look at is this gap would probably be a little bit more interesting. Your bigger picture looks like this. Got all my indicators on over here. So bigger picture. Let's redo some of this stuff. This is the post-election reaction. Here we came back in. We had a lot of this is what we call like a volume gap. But this is just a strong trend. And then day before yesterday, we finally broke out. Got right back to that all-time high. Kind of an easy little back test and go there. So we're in full breakout mode across everything. SPY looks pretty similar. Just grinding new high, 55th new high year to date so far. 55 new all-time highs year to date. That is a wild stat. I'm going to drop this down. Volume, Bob, I see you down there. Yeah, volume super, super low. When you look at the overall volume, super, super low. Um, we can actually pull a report and look at that here in a little bit. Let's continue setting up the day. Let me pull this. Let me throw this up here for you guys. This is the economic calendar. These are all over the place. This is the one I use because it has a lot of Globex stuff in it, just in case I'm ever in a position or looking at something. This morning, 9:45, the final version of this composite PMI. 10 a.m., a decent amount of data here. So ISM Services PMI, this will be probably somewhat of a reactionary point. The problem is where we're at in the market. How much reaction are we going to get? We'll see. We'll have to see how that goes. Factory orders, yeah, several ISM services. Some of you guys are seeing this down here. So it's a sit-down discussion that Powell is having today. He is at the Dill Book New York Times Summit up in New York. I was just going over this on Spaces. So when it comes to this as a speech, if he does have remarks, I think they'll be pre-written and released immediately as he gets up on stage. But I believe it's like a roundtable discussion, like a sit-down kind of speaking, conversation type of scenario. So we'll see how that works. But I don't expect a whole lot out of that, but you never know. Powell is so careful with his words and stuff. Okay, let me see. I'm checking the comments here. Let me check my microphone levels. How's that, Bob? Test. I just upped the volume a little bit. Y'all let me know if it sounds good, if I need to change any settings. Like I said, this is the first stream. Bear with us if we have any type of technical difficulties or anything. Getting this set up with OBS and the streaming software and stuff. It's tough because I've tested this. I've done the videos and on my channel before, but having it on here is... it's new, right? It's new. You gotta use little kinks and stuff. So it's a work in progress, but we will make sure it's all good. But yeah, Bob, give me a thumbs up or a confirmation if that sounds a little bit better. If not, let me know and I'll make another adjustment. 30 seconds till the open here. We'll get the economic calendar back off here. So I did take a short position just a few minutes ago, right before the stream started. When I saw we hit R2, I thought it would be a reaction point, maybe some profit taking going into the open. This is a counter trend short. Pivot points, I love using pivot points. Here we go, nice move here. I'm going to lock in a little bit of profit because this thing could bounce hard. All right, so we're gonna have a big gap here. Gap up forming. We do have the 1 minute delay, so this will update very soon on the what's in play tool here. But looking at QQQ for the most part, we do have a slight gap up. Let me get my mind around a few things here. VWAP in this. So if you're looking for a long, I think this would be the area. Just first glance. So pivot points, I use pivot points quite often. You can see my Edgeful indicator right here. This is kind of my main trading setup on a 5 minute chart that I just kind of watch throughout the day. Pivot points, I use orb. Why is my orb not on here? Let's get that on here as it develops. I like the 30 minute orb the best, but we look at a few different ways. All right, let's turn on gap fill. So you can actually see right here some of my favorite indicators that I always use. I think this short's going to play out a little bit further. If we can get below here, I think we should see this. It's going to be a nice short, about 60 points or so. The only reason I took it in this scenario was because we've gapped up. gapped up really hard, and I think we can come back and test. I mean, there's going to be people looking to get long, right? But if we look at the bigger picture of things, it's a full-on breakout. But maybe we can come back test this area, this previous high. So you can see my fibs drawn here. Awesome. So the sounds better now. Okay, perfect. All right, let's trim a little bit here on the short again. And once again, I took the short because we hit R2 up here, and we've just nothing but flown up. That's why to me, it was worth a shot just at R2. Pivot points usually get some type of reaction. I'm looking around. IWM getting a nice pop here off the open. Let me see. Let's look through the Mag 7 names. Microsoft just got over pre-market high briefly. Nvidia, slight red off the open here. Nothing really to talk about at the moment. I don't know what today's going to be like as far as trading. Hopefully we get some movements. I mean, this is a nice movement, and if you're looking to try to get long somewhere, maybe right here, I mean, where this wick just came off of, that could probably be the first place people are looking for. You also have 400 as a whole, we call it a psych level, or we call it the figure a lot, you know, a whole number, the figure 400. A spot here, you see it was resistance during the London session this morning. Turned to support here. We just tested it again. Under the EMAs, above VWAP. Trappy zone here. Could go either way. I try to stay out of the middle, personally. Try to stay out of the middle. We'll watch this. The gap. Let's go to QQQ here. We really want to see this first 5 minute. Guys, I live on the 5 minute chart, just watching things throughout the day, and then the 15 minutes. So as we get a little bit further into the day, I like to keep my QQQ chart around the 15 minute, and then I go to Amazon is flying right now. Amazon, I just heard on the squawker. Yeah. And I just got, did I get profit stopped? Yeah, I did. Profit stopped there. All right, well, it wasn't on the stream just yet, but we did have a nice little trade there to start off the day. This pivot point, I added the short right here, and took a couple trims on the way down. I don't like trading this first half hour. I like letting that first half hour sort itself out, and yeah, and then we kind of play off of there. All right, let's. Sorry, I was gonna go through. A lot happens in this first. So, okay, pause. Let's just pause for a second. All right, guys. If you have any questions, anything on your mind, anything you're watching, would love to see it in the chat. Would love this to be interactive. I like to try to be a beacon for a whole lot of things, and this short's going to continue playing out without me. That's just fine. Took my piece of the pie and started the day off with a win. We'll take that. Anything, there's a lot going on, especially in this first half hour. So anything that you guys are seeing that you have questions about, shoot it in the chat. I've got my eyes on chat right here, and I'll try to get to those. I will probably throw out too much information to you guys, and take what you need, take what you like. The rest of it, you can just ignore it, of course. But I like to, and I'm trying to show you guys kind of my style, right? My style is to be in tune with everything that's going on, have kind of a general idea of everything that's happening directionally. What are our big names doing, especially with QQQ and NQ? The NASDAQ is only 100 stocks, right? So, and especially the heavier weighted ones in there really move us, the largest companies in the world, like Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, and then the rest of the Mag 7. I watch those very carefully. If something else is going on, I'll call it out to you guys. We're all traders. Everyone trades a little bit different. Happy to provide that service as well. But we'll see if we can't make some money as well as far as the trading goes. Try to provide you guys some entertainment value. All right, Reggie J, I see that first question. What is Edgeful? Fantastic question, and you're in the perfect spot for that. All right, Edgeful. The simplest way I know to put this is a essentially a data service in a way, but it's so much more than that. Goodness gracious, where's Andre when you need him? Okay, so Edgeful, essentially the backstory of this, Andre, the CEO and founder of Edgeful, basically had a ton of Excel sheets that he was keeping up with historical data and seeing, okay, where can I find an edge in the market, right? Trying to use data and probabilities and not just feelings, right? Not trading off of gut feelings, not trading off of, well, this looks this way or the narrative is this and that. No, what is the actual? What does the data tell us? So I'll show you guys perfect examples on this. But Reggie, Edgeful itself, and you can check it out. There's links below. You can check it out for yourself. But essentially, you have. Let's just look at this real fast. So this right here is kind of your landing page, your toolbox. I'm on QQQ because that's what I trade the most. You can put literally any ticker in the market right here. And I mean, look, if I open this up, all the tickers you can think of, we have data for all of that here with Edgeful. And then different types of reports, you can narrow it down. They also have crypto, Forex, futures. I live between futures and stocks. I look at the crypto stuff every once in a while. You know, I do a little, I dabble over there every once in a while, but not a whole lot. This short is going to continue to play out, isn't it? Like I said, I think we're going to come back down into this area and then we find out kind of what it's made of. We're still in this first half hour, first few minutes, got data coming out. I'm not really interested in taking another trade right now, but I want this to set up. All right, so here's your example, Reggie. You can look at all this different reports. So this is going to be a lot to take in, and I don't want to spend the whole stream just going over Edgeful. But if you stay tuned, you'll see how this works, right? So one of my favorite reports is this gap fill report. So I'm already on it. Let's go to year to date. You can do any date range you really want here. I personally, 6 months is a decent amount. I like the year to date, kind of know what's happening this year. Somewhere in that range when I'm looking at like day trading type of stuff, I just want to know that. Every once in a while I'll drop it down to like 3 months if I'm trying to see what's the current climate doing, what are things doing recently. So you have that option as well, but I'm going to sit here on year to date. This gap fill report, and every one of their reports tells you exactly what's happening down here. But let me just go to the standard. So this is just in general, gap ups or gap downs on QQQ. When price opens up higher than the previous day's closing price, this is called a gap up. So yesterday closes here, today opens here, there's your gap. This is a very big thing. Let me go to QQQ and show you what it looks like here. All right, here you can see this right here. If I zoom in, it's still forming, or well, it's not forming, but it's still showing you. Here's the gap. This indicator is showing me. So yesterday's closing price was right here, and you can see if you follow my cursor across right there. So this is the gap, right? We have the gap up for those that aren't aware of that. When we gap up, 63% of the time, we're going to come back and fill that gap. This is just in general, without any other context, any other things that we're looking at. In general, that's what we do, right? We fill that gap 63% of the time. Now, I like to take it a step further because I like to look at the size of the gap. I was showing this right at the beginning. What did our gap end up being? Let's measure that and see. So we can see right there to our opening candle is right here at 9:30, 0.67. That's a decent sized gap. Does that mean it can't fill? That means it's a coin flip, is what that means. This is going back year to date. I can look at this. So if I'm trying to trade this as a strategy and trade this gap fill right here, if I'm looking for this gap to fill, or even just this gap to fill, honestly, the way I'm looking at this, it's a coin flip that we make it all the way back down to here. Do we come back test? Probably. Have we continued like a decent uptrend for a while? Look what we hit here. I don't know what this... Oh, wow. We basically hit a fib level perfectly there at the high, too. Oh, wow. Huh. How about that? Very interesting. Okay, so basically the point is, if you're trying to play this as a gap fill, if the gap was like maybe half this size, your stats would be much better, and I would probably be short looking for that. But because of the size of this gap, it's a 50-50 shot that we even come back in and fill this. And we are in full breakout mode. So that's kind of the first thing that I'm watching. And this right here, this is what we call, and I can just use the measuring tool to show you what it looks like from here to here. So this right here is what we call like an overnight gap or session gap, basically from after hours trading to this morning. Basically everything that happens in Globex, not everything, but kind of that in between when the New York markets are not open for any type of trading. So this would kind of be what I would be looking for today. Maybe a gap fill to here, somewhere in this area to get long. It's also right at 518. That's a whole number. I don't know, but we may just hold here. We'll let the orb form and see how it goes. Let me click back on what's in play here. See what's going on. Do I have a go-to strategy? That's a tough question, Jay. Tough question. Do I have a go-to strategy? I have kind of a system in a way with several strategies built into it, and I have a few that are my favorite. My main thing is I like to see how many things can I line up for at least a reaction or some type of confluence. If I see a key level on SPX, if I see a gap fill on QQQ, if I see a golden fib retracement, any of the above, any and all of the above, when I see things like that all line up, that's my favorite, right? Or when I have some, and for directional stuff, I love to look at Edgeful data reports because I can get an idea of, okay, what should be happening, especially if we have some type of gap, if we have, there's several different reports I can go through. And the one off the top of my head would be like the average consecutive bars. You know, if I see that we've had 9 green candles in a row, I'm going to look for some type of pullback, right? Or if I'm already in a position, I'm going to be looking to get out. Like, that's just the way I'm going to approach that. All right, I'm going to bounce back and forth between showing my chart and showing this right here. So orb is about to form on the 15-minute. You can see that. This what's in play feature, guys. I love this thing. I absolutely love this thing. And look, see, we're still in this trappy zone. We did get down to where I wanted to. I could have taken the long here. This is the pivot point. There's a report that goes with this pivot point, so I can take a look at it if you want. But it's it is interesting. We can take a look at that here in a second as we get moving. Global Services PMI just came out. Let me take a look and see. 54.9. That's 55.3 was expected. On the composite, it's pretty close to in line. A little bit under, but not bad. 56.1 on the services. 57 was the consensus. So data's out. You're not seeing a big reaction right here. It makes sense. Numbers were kind of in line. My personal opinion is that Friday, the non-farm payroll jobs number, is what the entire market's basically waiting for at this point. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot. I just don't know if we're going to see a whole lot happen between now and then. Probably the same. Slowly work your way back up. Slowly, or not back up, or higher would be the term, right? Slowly work your way higher. Appreciate everybody that's joined in this morning. Let me take a look at a couple more comments. 49, I see. How would you size if you have a 2K drawdown? It's interesting because that's a question that it depends on what type of trader you are. So essentially you have to think of that as 2K drawdown, what type of loss are you willing to handle? So if you're if you're risking, let's say $500 a trade, you can only mess up 4 times, right, before you blow that account. If you take 4 losses in a row, you're toast. Break your rules, you're toast even faster. But at the same time, it all depends. What's your risk to reward ratio? Are you a scalper? Are you trying to capture longer trendy moves? I size a little bit differently based on what type of trade I'm trying to take. If I'm trying to take a reactionary trade, like if I would have longed right down here on this pivot point, this is R1, 390, so just kind of undercutting 400 and hitting VWAP for the first time in quite a while, I probably would have thrown on probably close to full size here. Maybe the way it's coming down, I think I would have gone a little bit less than full size, and I would have been trimming out quickly, kind of looking for this area right back up here where all this action happened, kind of where we're rejecting EMA 9, and I'd probably be down all the way to runners, if not probably all the way to runners, and I'd probably have a stop pushed up here just below 400 in profit. But that's a different type of trade, because taking this trade, I don't know if I'm looking for this just yet. You really could, just based on the scenario we're in. But yeah, if you have a 2K drawdown 49, I don't know if you're trading NQ or ES or what you're trading. I'll assume maybe you're talking about NQ, if that's what I'm on. So if it is NQ, I would say you should be looking at M and Qs, and I'd probably be trading like 5 or 6. You get a 10, a reaction, a good entry, 10 points in your direction, 15 points in your direction. I'd probably be trimming out at least a third of that. So if you take 6, trim out 2 pretty quickly, de-risk that trade a little bit, lock in a little bit of gains. You get the continued move, then you take off, another 1, another 2, get down to just a third position left, and then let your runners work for you if the trade continues in your direction. If you're a scalper, probably similar. If you're a scalper, maybe a little bit more size, but still, if you're wrong, it just depends how you approach it. Because if you're wrong a few times in a row on a scalper, because especially the way NQ can go, it can go against you real fast, and it can get ugly pretty quickly. Reggie J, I see. Okay, been away from trading for a while and realized I really need a system to trade based on. Any suggestions or content to study? That Edgeful looks. First off, you've got to try Edgeful. First off, everything. If you use TradingView, Edgeful also gives you all the indicators that you need for pretty much everything, other than the built-in ones. But they have so many indicators built in here. And if I actually go to my invite-only script, you can see all these are all included with Edgeful right here. All this right here included with Edgeful. But the building a strategy is one thing. So you kind of got to figure out who you are, what type of trader you are emotionally, how you like to trade, some of those basics, and then build around that with data would be with Edgeful. That would be my recommendation. And those of you that have followed me for a little while, if you follow me on X, if you've watched my other videos and streams, you know that I've been using Edgeful for a while now. We're probably coming close to 9-10 months. I've worked this fully into my strategy, and it's become an integral part of my trading. This is something I actually use and actually do every single day. So it's not just like, hey, check it out. No, this is actually what I do. This is actually how I make money in the market all the time. And the data is just so important. I mean, why would you trade not having any clue what the market's actually been doing? I mean, what's the historical stats? If something has a probability of 80% of happening, I want to know that so that I can trade it and make money off of it. If I'm trading in a certain direction and it says, hey, you've only got a 13% chance that you're going to make it here, I'm probably don't need to be in that trade anymore, right? I probably need to be sized way down or lower my expectations. Also setting targets. So like, that's one thing I noticed when I started using Edgeful was my targets got much better. My percentage of profit that I could capture, because when I was looking at the different reports and statistics, I could see how far do things move in a range typically. How far outside of an orb do we normally move? You know, just this the statistics of what the averages are, and then I try to capture the averages instead of saying, well, I like this number down here, I like this level down here. Well, you know, that's great and all, but if we never get there, and I have some type of tool that can say, hey, you can, you know, you can pretty much count on this, or, you know, the probability of this happening is very high, and then beyond that is very low. I want to know that, right? I want to build that into my strategy. All right. JD, that's an actually very interesting approach I see in the comments there. Size according to your strategy statistics. That is another good way to approach it. So, like, yeah, looking back at how many losses have you ever taken in a row? What's your average amount of losses? Journaling your trades is so important. Looking back and actually paying attention to what works for me and what doesn't work for me. All right. I have this on the 15-minute orb here because that's what this is defaulted to on Edgeful. And we can see, just based on this, double breaks happen half the time, and then only one side happens about a quarter of the time on both sides. We've had breakouts 3 days in a row. We're obviously in an uptrend. So we'll see what happens today. Breakout would mean we break above this, break down above or below this. I like the 30-minute orb a little bit better, and you can customize. You can actually, so on this what's in play, you can just easily go straight into the report and get there very quickly by just clicking that, and you can actually customize it to whatever you like. So there's a 30-minute. I like to look at the 30-minute orb. This one's kind of interesting as it loads here. So what I did was I just changed this to same candle. So same candle means the first candle that breaks, the orb breaks both sides of the orb in that single candle. So are you going to break both sides in that same, look at that, double breaks. It doesn't normally happen that first 30 minutes. When you break one side, that's pretty much where you're headed for the next little bit, right? And then throughout the day, so this actually tells me the stats for the rest of the day. So it's the most common that you break both sides of the orb at some point, and that doesn't mean you go through them, you just break them, right? Or you just at least wick through them or go through them a little bit. But I watch these levels to see if we break through or recapture. That's how I trade a lot. We'll catch up on comments down here. Do you ever size up or size down based on probability of profit? That's a tough question. I personally don't like that. I mean, sometimes if I have a high confluence trade, I will go a little bit heavier, but very rarely. I don't like to change my sizing up a whole lot because you can get yourself into trouble real fast. There's a break over that opening 15-minute orb. You can see immediately some profit taking up there. So anybody that got long, so if you got long off of the VWAP or the R1 down here, and you're coming back up, there is your. I'm hearing some. If you guys hear me just freeze, it's because I have New Squawk going on that I want to make sure and get to you guys. And if there's something important, I will get it out there to you guys as soon as I hear it. But well, yeah, if you got long down here, this is a beautiful trade. We're still developing this 30-minute orb. We got a few more minutes, and then we have data coming out. Then we'll see if we can make some money or some trades. Yeah, but sizing wise, Reggie, I like to stick to what I have, what I normally have. So I have a full size, which full size to me is basically what we were just talking about, a normal risk to reward, knowing my account size and how many losses I can take, etc. But it's just my personal strategy. What I focus on though is I have a full size, and then I come down from that based on market conditions, based on confluence of a trade. So if there's a trade that maybe I don't have a ton of confluence, like maybe I have 2 or 3 things that I like, but not 4 or 5, then I'm like, okay, let's just size down. And I like the trade, but I don't want to be in a full position. When we have VIX super high and the market's super volatile, I don't want to be in full size. Right now, this slow, grindy, new all-time highs, I don't like that either. JD, I'm not sure what MFE on orbs means. If you want to expand on that a little bit. What settings? Oh, my pivot point. Dean, let me show you the pivot point settings. This is the one key that I changed. So pivot points, I have the indicator from Edgeful with the pivot points. I do not use daily base values. So what that means, pivot points will use intraday data while calculating on intraday charts. If extended hours are displayed on the chart, that will be taken into account. The reason I don't is because from watching this for months and months and months and months and months, I see better reactions to this version without daily base values. So this would be the normal one. You see how they move a little bit? And actually, I mean, just look at the difference right here. So if I check this, we went through this. We still kind of, I mean, you could say we rejected this on probably a different time frame, right? And then this would be where the other one was. But if I take this off, you see, I just from trading over and over and over on NQ, I don't use daily base values. So uncheck that, and that's what, if you use NinjaTrader, that's what their default indicator setting is set at as well. That's kind of another reason why I went with it that way. And just for the, I said I would look at this. I need to go to, let me go to futures. All right, so I'm on Edgeful. I'm going to futures. I'm going to NQ. Look at all these futures. Well, these lists get longer and longer. SPY rejected right there at pre-market high. I have behind me, by the way, I have plenty of stuff. We'll look at that in a second. I want to show you what I was on. Pivot points. So under indicators, there's a report for pivot points. I'm on the New York session here. We'll go to year to date. But essentially, if you look, we opened up the New York session between R1 and R2, because we opened up right here, right? Between R1 and R2, data's coming out. Hold on, data's coming out. ISM services PMI final came in a little bit lower, 52.1 versus 55.5. Yeah, we're dipping hard right here. ES is coming down real hard. We just broke. Look, there's your double break on the orb there. All right, this is where I start to get more interested in the market once we get that first half hour out of the way, and we just got the data out of the way. Breaking orb low here. We went up here. Look, we double topped at pre-market high. We're breaking orb low here. We broke it, but we haven't really got outside of it yet. I'd probably be looking for something in this area down here, previous day high. There's some stuff to go with that. To finish this point, all right, so on NQ, we opened up between R1 and R2 for the New York session. So this is actually going to give me the stats of where we go. So like if, obviously we're between R2 and R1, we should touch those. which we basically have, there's only a 37% chance that we come down to the pivot point, and there's a 31% chance that we go above it. Below the pivot point, I mean, look how small our numbers get for going down below based on where we opened. So the way I look at this is also for like reversals and entries too. So like if we do see the pivot point for some reason, I'm probably going to look for a long down there, which how low is the pivot point? Way down here. Yeah, this would basically be kind of like your back test of the breakout. Now there's a lot of stuff on my chart here. Here, let me clean this up a little bit for you guys. Get that one off. That was a short-term one from yesterday. So look, we're still above VWAP, we're still above the R1, we're still in an uptrend. The data that came out was, they're trying to read through it, but I don't know. SPY a little bit weaker. Let's take a look at the 15-minute now that we've got a half hour's worth of data. I mean, you could call this a bear flag in a way. JD, I'm going to show you something that I like. Let me show you this one. Orb by levels. Let's see. I'm going to go back to QQQ because that's what I like to look at the most. And I'm going to put this on half hour because you said you like 30-minute as well. So here's half hour. You see the 0? That's the high of your half hour, your 30-minute orb. There's the low. By levels, this means like a half of the range movement, full range movement. I like this, and with that, let me get all the way back to over here. It doesn't take that long actually. I can just type in QQQ there. And let's go to price action, orb. I love orb. See this one right here by levels? So I'm on the orb or opening range breakout report. I was kind of looking at this a while ago. You can look at all kinds of metrics here. That's what I love. You can find what works for you, right? That's the whole point, you know, going back to Reggie's thing earlier. By performance, so how far do you go on average when you break either side of a 30-minute orb? You break the bottom side, you actually normally go much further than the upside. That's interesting. Here's the max that happens. Oh, gosh, I don't remember what day this was. This is probably that maybe back in August or something. That's wild to move that far outside the orb, which we probably bounced back a little bit that day. But where I'm going on this one is the by levels. So what I was just showing you on this on QQQ. So breaking either side of this, you're looking for basically this range to move, you know, half a range, a full range, and look kind of where that takes you. That actually takes you to a very interesting spot there at the 1 standard deviation. Takes you basically back to the after hours high. The reason I pull that report up though is because it gives you the stats. So right here in the middle of these two bars is the actual orb. When you break either side of it, if you break down, you're going this way. If you break out, you're going this way. And it tells you the stats and the percentages of how far you move when that happens. This is big bottom wick here. Never broke this on QQQ. So we haven't broken the bottom orb. Let me go back to this view. This is what I like. I also love, I got them to add this midline on here. I absolutely love the midline. The midline, this is the midpoint of that 30-minute orb. And look how important it is. Just look where this candle opened at. I mean, that's just, wow. we've broken the upside. We have not broken the downside of the 30-minute orb. We did come down pretty hard right there. SPY, on the other hand, much different view on SPY. I like to look at both because SPY obviously is kind of like the ultimate, like, hey, I want to go in this direction. I'm going to pull QQQ with me. It doesn't have to happen exactly that way, but that does happen a lot. It's stronger, in my opinion. It's just stronger. Turn this stuff back on. In a video the other day, when we gap up, bearish or bullish outside day, it's fairly common that we come back and touch the previous day high, but with confluence, I can look at this gap size and say that this gap all the way down there probably doesn't fill, but if we do start moving down, this would be your target, I think. Session gap in this area and previous day high. We can look at that report. Look at these outside days. I made a video on this, like I was saying last week. Bearish or bullish outside day. So what this is, when you close, or wherever the close is, when we gap up, so we open up above the previous day's high, which is why I love that indicator. There's a whole lot of ways you can look at previous day's range. I think it's super important. But when you open above the previous day's high, you usually come back and touch it. 68% of the time you come back and touch it on QQQ. On SPY, it's actually a higher percentage. I think it's like 71. Look at that. I just looked at it the other day. 71. So that's this one right here. So, and if we don't come back and touch it, it's this 29% of the time where we gap up. We never make it back down. We just continue higher. But I like this stat here. Jump back to that, because that tells me when we open up here, the previous day high is here, so that's from basically this candle right here. Previous day high is here. We open up here. Over 70% of the time we come back and touch this. That gives me a directional bias that makes me want to try to trade this short, but nothing on the chart right now is telling me to try to short again. I took this as a reactionary trade, and you guys saw me where I called it out, saying, oh, I'm getting out of this pretty quickly here. I got stopped out on runners here after being out more than half of my position. But this, I mean, just look what we're doing here, you know, and we're at all-time highs. It's context and confluence always. Always, always, always. It could be a light trading day. It really could. I do have Bookmap back here on this laptop. I use that in multiple different ways. I have 6 charts over here on this monitor. I do QQQ, SPY, IWM, and then I have NVIDIA, Microsoft, and this last one, I usually start with Apple, but the last one over here is the one I just rotate through, kind of mostly Mag 7, but basically all kinds of different stocks there. Speaking of Mag 7, Amazon is absolutely screaming to the upside, which I don't know if their Black Friday numbers came out. I didn't see any of that yet, but they've got a lot of stuff going on. I don't think you want to short this market just based on where it's at. If it does get up here and reject this same area again, maybe you try it, but for me, you're well above VWAP. You just had 2 tests down here, and look, you got bought up really hard both times. You're breaking the orb. Wow, boom, look at that. So now, what happens up here? That's the question. Do I have any fibs left? Way up there. Look at that. You've broken the orb. You've broken over pre-market highs. You just wicked that level. That's the only thing is first time we got up here during regular trading hours. So I don't want to buy a breakout here. I don't want to buy into this. We are pretty high, and like I was showing that stat that we come back down here pretty often. I think an important thing, and I mentioned this in a tweet on Monday. And Monday I was I was kind of doing the same thing. I was looking at this going, okay, I have statistics and bias or whatever you want to call it. I have theory, thesis that we need to come back here, and I have price action and a couple other things telling me that we're going to go here. And I didn't have anything in confluence, so I just didn't trade much at all on Monday. I want to take trades. I love taking trades, obviously. It's how I make money, right? Amazon is absolutely... Look at Amazon's chart here. Just gone. AMD a little bit red there. Look at... Here's the gap fill. Look, NVIDIA almost... I mean... within a few pennies of the gap fill there. Came into previous day high. So, opened up here. Came into previous day high. NVIDIA, I remember from doing the video, their stats that you come back and test the previous day's range, whether it's a bullish outside day that comes back here, or if you open down here that you come back and touch this previous day low, previous day's range, pretty strong. Let's look at QQQ. This is a tough call because you're above here. You're in a very breakout. I mean, you just broke out into new all-time highs. I mean, just look at the higher time frame here. Just turn off some of this stuff. You came back here. You grinded up. Boom. Broke out of this. Got back into this range, so you can kind of see this range here. We got back into that. We didn't spend hardly any time there, and boom, broke out. Let's see, what was this last night, basically? New all-time high here. Continuation. Now, I do see, obviously, a lot of green candles in a row on the 4-hour. Just had a red candle on the 1-hour. Yeah. I don't have any confluence to trade here. This is the same kind of short I took earlier, but once it tests it the first time, I don't really like the second time. Do y'all have 1 minute opening range stats? I don't think it does 1 minute. I believe it stops at... You can customize it. I believe it's 5. Yeah. So there's 5, 15, and 30 on here. You know what, though? This is worth mentioning, and I'm actually glad you have that, JD. You have, with Edgeful, you have the ability to request a report anytime, actually. And to take that even a step further, I would say 80% of the reports on here, like you saw that whole list that I was going through a while ago, all this right here, 80% of these reports are from traders that requested them, and Edgeful built them out for everyone to use. So if you do have a request or an idea, you can 100% jump in when you have if you sign up. You can 100% jump in and request a new report, and they'll take a look at it and see. I mean, the basics of it are: is it a if then? Is it a non-biased like report, or what's the term, subjective? So like it can't have any subjectivity. It's got to be all, black and white. When this happens, quantifiable. Oh, Ace the Kid, Jordy, I see you down there with the avocados. Aguacate. SPY coming down really hard right now. So that would be my confluence for this short if I was in it. SPY, like we were talking about, we've probably come back to the previous day's high here. You may hold up in this area. We'll see. But SPY's coming down pretty hard. You broke this. So you had already broken the upside. You broke the downside. Let's see. Yeah. Let me see what my sectors are doing down here. Energy's getting its teeth kicked in. Banks are red again. These two have been kind of a weird issue lately. A couple other red sectors, materials. But you probably come like to half gap or so. What was our gap here? Let's go to... Where do we close? Right in here somewhere. So your half gap's about right there. It's probably the first place I would look. Amazon finally put in a 5-minute little shooting star there. I'll tell you what's tough. I mean, I'm looking at this just across the board. I mean, NVIDIA's back above EMAs and VWAP on the 5-minute chart. Microsoft's just coming down to test them. Amazon's not even close to touching it yet. That's our strongest player today is Amazon. That was my biggest watch for this week. Let's see. Google's above all pre-market levels, just bouncing right on VWAP and stuff right now. Apple's at VWAP and the 21 EMA. Meta, downside candle, same. QQQ's hitting VWAP right now. AMD, they're trying to buy it up down there. Wow, energy's getting absolutely smoked right now. ExxonMobil is getting destroyed. And oil, I'm sure, is probably... What's oil doing? Oil had a crazy day yesterday. Big day yesterday. This is coming back to back tests. It makes sense, right? Alright, well, I want to take a trade, but I don't want to force anything poor because, look, if you chase that short, seeing SPY breakdown, I mean, if anything, maybe you watch for this to come back up here and reject 605.50 area. I don't know, QQQ. Just look at this 5-minute QQQ. Rejection here, came all the way back down. It actually hit VWAP in the EMAs. I have multiple charts set up so I can see things in different places, but we can't even close this candle down here near the orb high. That to me is not a short until either something's got to show me up here like multiple resistance or break. You got to break and base under this. So like break, start rejecting here, close under here, and then you can look for something down here. If anything, probably still long. NVIDIA's pumping. Yeah. So here's that setup I was talking about a while ago. Like I said, I mostly trade the futures intraday, but I will call out other things for you guys. And if you look at this, I showed the outside days report. NVIDIA right here opened up above previous day high, which is down here, bullish outside day, came back and touched previous day high, which I remember this from my video, it's a 75% chance that happens, does it 75% of the time, did that, so you either play the short to here, or you wait for this to come down here, and you take the long in this area, and boom. You also have like this area down here for Confluence. 140 has been a key level. This gap fill for Confluence, so you could start taking a long in NVIDIA down here, and look, you've had a very nice trade once that plays out. And just to show, let's just look at that actual let's look at that actual scenario. Just as much as we trade and make money, we also want to educate, right? That's what this is all about. So let's go look at the actual report. so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Outside days on NVIDIA. Here, last 6 months. So last 6 months, bullish outside day. That's when we gap up above previous day. We open above previous day high, yesterday's high. You can see that clearly on the chart here. We opened up here, previous day high right here. So here's my indicator that tells me where it's at. What are my stats? Here, this is we come back down, touch it, and go. You don't have to go, by the way, just to be clear. This could come down and touch it and keep going. It doesn't have to bounce there, but that's the general idea, right? Nothing is certain in this market, of course, but we play probabilities. 74% of the time you're going to do that. On the video, you're going to come down and touch it. And this illustration is basically the setup that I am showing you. I mean, look how clear this is. Previous day high, look what happened. Boom, 2 big bottom wicks. There's your tweezer bottom. There's your confirmation. This candle came back through. You didn't reject or blow. You got back into or blow. Boom, you're looking for the midpoint, opening price, and see if you can get some continuation pre-market highs here. What a trade that would have been if you were on that. And look, once again, even though this candle came way down here, we had we had data coming out here. We had things happening all over the place. SPY we're trying to break down. Tech is just too strong. Amazon super strong. Microsoft strong. You saw the NVIDIA chart just now. Some of the things I looked at. Dean says would like them to produce a report showing fib retracements, like some stats showing numbers about 715 of the 15-minute orb. That's interesting. I will show you what they do have. Let's go back to QQQ just to keep the same examples on here. Let me show you fib levels. So this one's interesting. This is based on previous day's range. So previous daily candle to mark Fibonacci's level, and then you can look at where we opened. So if we opened from the previous day, if we open between halfback and golden retrace, it kind of tells you what we do based on where we open. Opening up here is very rare. You can see over the last, usually this would be right in here. Kind of gives you the stats of what's happening. Green candle, red candle, 6 months. So I don't use this one a whole lot. Also, right here, there's a video. If you ever have if you have a report that's interesting to you, you can hit play on these videos, and if you look, they're like 3 to 5 minutes long. This one's 5 minutes, and Andre's going to come through here and explain exactly how to use the report. Goodness. To me, you're over orb high. I have to lean bullish until that breaks. Until we come back under here, I have to stay bullish. It's a tough buy, but I think it, just because I have this, and if anything, I could possibly see, so like if you do something like this, like this would be an entry point here potentially if you test this again, or the other thing would be if we can break over this, it would be something like this is what I would look to try to take. Everything's telling me, I mean, we're above EMAs, way above VWAP. Our orb, 30-minute orb was set here. We've broken above that. If we can break above this resistance here, we probably just are going to continue this trend. That's just based on what I'm looking. Do they have any stats associated with volume TPO profiles? I'm not aware of any volume TPO stuff, but I know volume in TPO. I do look at that a lot especially on higher time frames. And one of the guys I trade with daily is he's a wizard at reading those TPO charts. All right, we're gonna see how this candle closes here. But I don't think they have anything on it. We're gonna see how this candle closes here. If this kind of puts in a tweezer top, I don't know. I want this to play out a little bit more. What's our 15-minute look like? Yeah, my biggest takeaway from today so far though is 49. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Those top wicks on the 5-minute. That's what it depends how this closes. If this closes down here, it kind of has that top wick look to it, but I don't know. Let me turn off a couple things here and just show you guys what let's hide drawings, and let me hide some of this stuff here just to simplify things. All right, blue is my 9 EMA, yellow is my 21, and then this is VWAP with just the first standard deviation. And you look, that kind of was being resistance, now it's possibly support. So that's it's very trendy looking, right? Look at this 30-minute. Very trendy. Very, very trendy. Yasmin's asking, why is the volume so low? Well, so you just had a holiday week. You're at all-time highs. So my thesis on why the volume's so low, when you get to all-time highs, you don't have a whole lot of participants. You have people maybe taking some profit, but you don't have a whole lot of people just buying at all-time highs, right? Especially like institutions. They're buying dips, they're selling into strength. There's nothing that's saying, hey, sell everything right now, right? Nothing's telling me just sell everything. But or not me, but just everyone in general, right? Nothing is saying, hey, there's a concern, right? All-time highs are not bearish. Never. They're never bearish, right? So because of that, you have this scenario where one, you're when you get to all-time highs and you're just kind of grinding up, you don't have any reason to sell, you don't have any real fears in the market or anything. Volatility is really low right now. You just aren't going to have a whole lot of volume. You're also late in a year where big institutions have already made their paycheck. They're not going to probably put on a whole lot of risk going from now to the end of the year. So they're not going to get involved a whole lot in new ways. You also have a big data report coming out on Friday, and then FOMC coming up soon. Until you get something, because we just got through earnings season, until you get something that gives the market a reason to be directional or different direction or more excited in this current direction, I just think people are just kind of riding it out right now. And I think that's why the volume's staying so low. We still have a ton. ADR, average daily range, this on here on this what's in play. Still a ton of room on that ADR. IB just finished forming right now. That's your initial balance, your first hour. If we're still rejecting here, I mean, I don't mind the short here if you're only looking for this as your target. Or let's say you take a small position here and you take off at least half coming down into here. But the problem is, if you look, this 5-minute candle just closed. I mean, it's rejecting the R2, right? This is R2. It's rejecting it, but that's the highest 5-minute candle. This is the highest candle close we've had ever, actually, ever, because it's all-time highs, ever. But the context of this would be this is the highest candle close you've had since, you know, in the current trend, in the current session, current week, whatever, multiple ways to look at it. So I don't like this short. If anything, I wouldn't mind if it did this. Something like that. It doesn't even have to be that jumpy. It could even be, I mean, it could be even simpler than that. I mean, it could just do this now. I mean, just as simple as it gets. Yeah, there you go. So new highs, new all-time highs. QQQ breaking new all-time highs. Did SPY recover? Yes, SPY absolutely recovered. Remember the first thing I showed earlier, the size of the gap was so big that the statistics of us filling that gap went way down. That's why you have to put context with everything. The size of the gap fill, the report right here on Edgeful, has kept me out of so many bad trades. Or if I'm in a trade, it's kept me from getting, like picking good targets. So the gap on SPY wasn't that big based on this. But yeah. Yeah, once you get into this range of size, yeah, it's just bad. Yeah, look at this 15-minute candle. See, like you broke, when you look at this, you broke or below here, got bought up on this, and we didn't even close below the or below there. What does the 5-minute look at? Look at this 5-minute candle. We never really got below this. So I'm looking for this to break and then stay under if I'm trading that. If anything, reclaim here, you go back to the middle or you traverse the range to the upside. Look at QQQ go. CrowdStrike new high of day. Amazon looks like it's still bussing. That looks like a flaggy. What is R2? R2 is a pivot point. So let me go back to the 30-minute. Here, I'll turn off all this so you can see the pivot points. Pivot points is an indicator. It's based on a calculation using previous day high and low. There's a whole formula. I can try to find it for you guys at some point. There's a whole formula. I've done videos on it before. But pivot points, especially on futures, and this actually, you see this on equities too. You see this on indices as well. But they're reaction points, and if you look at this, look at these reaction points here. But here's your pivot point. R1 is resistance 1, resistance 2. Same with support 1, support 2. It's all based on previous day range and calculations. But if you look at this, we're fully in breakout mode now. That's why I said I don't like that short. So if anything on the trade on the stream today, if we don't get, they're just pivot points, just straight up pivot points. I think there's other versions of it. Yeah, just pivot points is what it's called. And I showed this earlier. I do not use daily base values. I use the full values. Boy, this is so. We're not even going to get a back test. It's just going to go. Where can it go? To nowhere. But the point I want to make here is we were looking at this. We saw SPY breaking down, but we never really saw QQQ or NQ coming down. We saw this. I mean, there was no reason really getting a short here. Like, this is trendy. We're over the out of VWAP band. We're way over the EMAs. And if anything, there was a decent entry. Broke over the R2. And we're full on squeeze mode now. Full on squeeze mode. let's go back to this orb by levels thing. So we got through that. We're looking probably at the full standard deviation would be my next target. So if I did get long anywhere in here, and I can show the other orb with it. Go back to my 30 minute. That's what I like. All right. Either way, there's half a standard deviation or half a range out. Full range probably up here. Now I need some type of back test. So like I drew this while ago. Something like this, please. Then I can try along. $5.22 on QQQ. Wow. Well, I'm glad I made a little bit of money right there before the open, because I had a feeling today would be a rough day trading, but check out NVIDIA. So remember we talked about previous day high getting touched. It's now come up here. A bull flag here in the middle, and boom. This is also right off of, if I have the EMAs on this chart set up, right here is the EMA 9 and 21. They crossed right here. It came back and touched it, bull flag. You got pre-market highs basically. You wonder if you can get continuation up to here. Gosh, look at Microsoft. What an open on Microsoft. Meta had a big day yesterday. That doesn't surprise me that it's slightly red. Boy, Amazon is trucking along. And look at SPY. SPY just broke back over the 30-minute orb. I just don't know if we're even going to come down and fill those gaps. If we do, it's going to be probably much later in the day. I mean, everything, even if I throw this on QQQ, I mean, there's nothing bearish about this chart at all. Even IWM's hanging in there. What's our buddy Tesla doing? There's a big old liquidity sweep down here into R1. Same thing on ES. Struggling at R2. You can see where these pivot points become very key. Look, you broke over it, you supported it, basically supported it here, never really got below it. Boom, you go to the next level. Rejected it. Oh, came down. Boom. I love pivot points. I'm excited to get my new webcam. Hopefully I have it set up for tomorrow. Bond's doing well today. Dollar's been cooling off. Okay. This Palantir chart yesterday was the most ridiculous thing I ever saw. And it finally broke over that 70. Look at Snowflake up today. Holy crap. Don't short a dull market. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. Don't short a dull market. If anything, I want to try to get long somewhere in here. Like I said, I just don't know if we're going to make it back down anywhere. This IWM chart's interesting. Netflix, what a monster. Oof. Look how much it's slowing down, guys. That's why I didn't chase a trade. That's why I'm not in any trades. I mean, you look back, maybe if you got long down here, you're just sitting in it, right? You're trimming. You have no reason to sell. You're just trimming. You got over the key spot. You got over pre-market Globex's highs. Even if you use fibs on the orb extension. What does this look like? I mean, this looks like a flag still. Look at this. Where you at? Here. This looks like a bull flag. Like it wants to go higher. Hold on, look at NVIDIA. What do we talk about NVIDIA? Oh, that's Netflix. NVIDIA. Alright, we talked about this multiple times this morning. This is a great setup. Boom. Boom. Here's your pre-market highs. Now you're looking for that. A lot of upper wicks. but who knows? Until a candle closes, I don't look at. I mean, I look at the wick a little bit because you can watch it develop. You can see, okay, maybe there's some pressure there, but if anything, this is, people taking profit, but there's still buyers up here. I look at Bookmap a lot to see where what we're looking for, or like where big orders are sitting, to try to find some targets. There's liquidity sprayed out all around 500. Nothing really of note though. I do see on ES, there's a decent amount of orders just over high of day at like 88, 60, 88. And then some resting orders up at like 94, 60, 94. I think you may try the long here. Let's see. I don't like these upper wicks really, but I mean, if you just come back here, probably right in here. Probably take. Let's see if it comes a little bit lower. Maybe you take a long here. Some decent selling on ES and SPY going on right now. I just don't know if you want to counter trend trade this today. Look, you can already see buyers stepping in. I would have liked to see it come a little bit lower. And look, if this candle closes any higher, this EMA 9 right here is probably going to touch this candle. So right there, it's sitting there. If this closes any higher, it's going to catch up and it's probably going to touch. It's going to look like it wicked off the EMA 9. I have a question regarding data evaluations and day trading, specifically regarding the edge in the 15-minute opening range break. For example, is a note that SPY. I will say this, like I can take a look at it with you, JLo. Edgeful's really good about giving you support on these reports. I would 100% say check with Andre, do the call. We have the scenario where you can do the call. Talk to Andre about any doubts that you have, but I'll take a look at it as well. Oh, by performance? Is this the report that you're talking about? I can go to year to date. I don't know which data set you have on, but I can take a look at it. When you say minimum and maximum, I'm not sure which report you're talking about. I am looking to try to take a long here. Based on the current conditions in the market, I mean, SPY did struggle there at pre-market high, but it could just be a cup and handle. I'm looking at tech right here, and I'm thinking this is probably a long. I almost want to just take a starter here on the 9 and add in here and hope it doesn't come down here, but I'd rather enter here and risk down into this area with maybe an add here in case, and see if the candles still close above it. But the way this is setting up, I almost want to take the long now. Just be patient here. Let's see if we get down and touch this area. J-Lo, I would love to touch on that. I'm not 100% sure which report you're looking at or talking about. If it's this one, I mean, this is average performance when you break the orb, like how far it goes on average, and then your max is over here, max and minimum's over here. But your average performance means it's how far it goes on average when it breaks through. I really want to take a long right in this area. I think I can almost take a starter. We're right here on the 9. I think I could go small starter here. Small starter long right here. Yeah. Everything else still looks good. I just think I want to go with the trend a little bit, but it's tough to buy up here. Scrolling through some of the Mag 7 to see. Everything just looks really good. Amazon 220 almost, 219.99. To be 100% honest, this is kind of like trading in no man's land. JD said he added his long. Okay, JD, let's ride. Let's ride. Yes, exactly, but I am not registered. My statement is based only on a video by Andre. So I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but I want to try to help. So like if I'm looking at the orb report on a 15-minute time frame, this is telling me how far on average it's going to go past it. When it breaks out above the upper orb, how far it's going to go past it. This tells me how far on average it's going to go below it when it breaks down. I mean, we can try to take a look at it real fast. I am still eyeing this trade, so actually. Let's throw this down to 15-minute orb. So when you break this on average, you're going down. Yeah, we barely even went below it, right? But then we broke back above. So like if I was playing this, which this doesn't look like that great of a breakout, if anything, QQQ would probably be the better one on average. So we broke. Here's your 15-minute orb. How far did we go so far? So far we've gone 0.26. Let's look at NASDAQ just for the... all I have is a starter on right now. I'd like to take one more ad, but I don't want to chase it. It's like right between where I really want to enter and there's a little buff where I really want to enter, but I don't want to chase it up here. QQQ, so on average, you're going to move 0.38%. I was just measuring it. We went 2.2, so we still have some more room on QQQ on average to go up even higher. Notice we did get to that one deviation and reject. This is where I really want to long this area right here. The long would probably look at, let's see. I mean, there's 500 right there. That's the other tough scenario. You're coming into a whole number. This is basically your risk to reward on this. What does that look like? 1.75. It's not the greatest. It's not bad though. I mean, even if you like risk down to like the 21 area, I think you could risk this though. A 22-point risk for a 40-point win or so. All right, so I'm taking a trade. I took a trade here, so we're up 15 points here, almost 20 points. I've got to take a trim. So I don't have big size on, but I am still going to trim, right? I'm going to treat it the same. So I'm going to trim a third of my position right here. So there's the trade idea. Here's the current. My actual entry is like 66, 65, 60. Yeah, right here. So there's my entry. So I've already got a 15 to 20 point trade here. I'm taking off a third. I want to trim going into the 500. You could possibly, if I had more size on, I would be trimming going into this high again. But I'm going to look for 500 here for our next trim, and then we see if runners can go anywhere. I'm going to set an order about 98 for a trim. How many points is that going to give me? 30, just 30. Here, since my entry is 66 or so, I'm going to go like 97. We'll call that 31 points if we can get there. I would be trimming probably right here if I had more size on. Or if you were already in this trade and you added some here, so trading around the core, if you're already in along, you trim, you add some back in here, you take it back off here for an extra little cherry on top. JD, I know you added that long. I know you added that long. Are you you trimming anything here? Where are we at? Nice ad right there, JD. Let's go. Me and you, JD, we're going. Something about me, the guy, for those of you that don't know me, when it comes to trading, I stay right here emotionally the whole time. The only time I get excited is when I'm celebrating a trade. The only time you'll see my emotions go up, I tell people my blood pressure, my heart rate only goes up when I'm celebrating a trade. Every trade is not emotional. It's based on analysis. It's based on probabilities, statistics. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Manage emotions. Keep your emotions down. Try to keep emotions out of it. Just coming into that same area. I'm going to move up stops here. I'm going to put stops. We'll go break even, honestly, because we took this as a... Yeah, we're going to go break even stop because we're about to make a new high here. I would definitely be trimming here if I had put on more size there. I'm doing this trade in thirds. If we get to that upper 490s right into 500, I'm going to take off. This just looks like it's going to go, though. Goodness gracious. But I am going to take off another third. I'm not a big breakout trader. So for me, that's how I manage my risk here. Wow, it looks beautiful. Look what SPY did. Boom. New highs. New highs. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Come on, give us new highs. SPY just made a new high. Come on, Qs. Come on, Qs. Microsoft, pop in. New high on Microsoft. Come on. There it is. New high of day. New high of day. Come on, let's hear order filled. Let's hear order filled. There's the 30-point trade if you took it with me. Please make your own decisions, of course. None of this is financial advice. Well, that was pretty close. I put my order up at 97 and it got real close there. What did we get to now? Oh my gosh. 1 tick away? 1 tick? Don't do me like that, market. Not on the stream. Come on. Not on the stream. JD's looking for 504. I like that. There's a lot of orders sitting at 500. The liquidity on NASDAQ probably pushes through that, and you probably get your 04. You probably get 10, 12, maybe even further up there, but we'll see. As it comes into 500, it could stop right there. This could be when you do kind of a slightly higher high, and then you get some more sellers. Coming into that 500 is going to be a big level. It always is psychologically on NQ. Big level there. But we made some money on this trade. Let's see if it can get some continuation. This looks really good. We want it to stay above up here, though. Definitely above here. Boeing is getting some action. Nice. I don't even remember where is it? There it is. Wow. Look at Boeing. This thing was just trading at like 130. See what our other names are doing here. Yeah, Amazon got that 220 to the penny. To the penny on Amazon. Meta getting punished a little bit. What does our ADR look like? A lot of ADR. A lot of ADR left. Like I said, I don't. Right, we're just continuing to run away from the gap. Continuing to run away from the gap. That was the first thing I showed you guys this morning, was that gap. And look, we are right at the 1 standard deviation still. It's still a good profit taking spot if you got long here or on the break. It's not the most exciting 15-minute candle there. We're still good on the 5-minute. Come on, market. SPY still looking strong. A little bit of new squawking going on, but nothing really of note. I'm drawing that purple line right there. If that's my next trim spot, so you guys can see. Where did I take my first trim? Like 20. What did I say? 20 points. I can't remember where I executed that. No, I think it was actually, let's be fair, I think it was like right in here. So trim 1 was here. We're looking for trim 2. And we'll trail stop any runners. Go, baby, go. Oh, look at NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA. For those that can't see it, this is NVIDIA. Strongest stock in the whole market. Boom. Go, baby. Go get that orb high. Go get that orb high, NVIDIA. Push this up. Push this up. JD, you cut? JD, no. No, we're still going. Good trade, though. You made money. You're green. Good trade. That is a mindset thing that I will preach to you guys. Just the way I look at it. If you take a trade and it's not like, for example, if this didn't make it back up here and get my second trim, big deal, right? I made the trade. I was green on the trade. I made money. End of story. Come on. Come on. I want to hear order filled. Give it to me in my ear. Come on. Push, push, push. Up, 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 up. Let's make some money on the stream today. So originally I was willing to risk down into this area, I think somewhere in here. Now we're basically risking this. I don't like that wick. I could have moved my trim down a little bit there, but that's all right. I can tell you what I can do here. Since I was going to take it off in thirds. You know what? We're going to let it play out. We'll let it play out. If it comes back down, no, we're just going to play it out. So I think we're going to keep it. I think it's going to stay over this, but we'll see. This purple line right here, this one I drew was just that first trim I took where we took off a third in profit. It's not actual support level, even though it looks like it's acting like one. I don't like the upper wicks, but I like the trend. So we're still following the trend here. And I like to look and see if there's any other confluence I can find. IB, breakout, breakout, breakout. That tells me uptrend right there. You break out of the first hour balance. Break the first hour's range. Average, you go 33% more on Qs. NVIDIA almost there. I don't really like this tweezer top. but we want to stay above this. So I may miss that by a tick. I hope somebody got it. I'll get back in at 446 or 471 depending on where. JD, you're watching the tape. Yeah, I just see liquidity added on NQ at 525 up above head. In the last 5-10 minutes, they added it up there. I think we're still good. I don't want to add to the trade. The main reason here I'm managing my risk because I don't like trading all-time highs personally, and I don't like buying breakouts, but this trend is just strong. I needed to get on the train somewhere, right? Even if I don't ride the train for a long time, maybe I'm just going across town. I had to get on the train somewhere. Squawker got real quiet. I was hearing some stuff. That conference that Powell's speaking at today, there's actually a lot of other people speaking at that conference today. So we may get, I think, like Sam Altman's speaking there. There's some other big names. I can't remember who we were talking about this morning with Evan, Stock Market News. Mattel has some kind of news. Boom. Oh. I haven't looked at a Mattel chart in forever. Wow, look at that. Hasbro is also pushing. Boy, this chart had moved in forever. Ugh. That's disgusting. That may be something to put on the radar for a longer term play. That amount of consolidation usually gets a move, right? Show you guys the IB. IB by levels. So the IB, this is where the 0 is your high and low of the initial balance, which is the first hour of the market. And it gives you the target there. We said it was 33% on average. We got about half of that so far, so we can get some continuation. I don't like that 15-minute candle particularly, but we hadn't had a red 15-minute candle in a while. I mean, I still like the overall trend here. I mean, this could just be a flag again, but we'll see. Let's see if buyers step in here on the 9. We may come back down in here. You know, I could get stopped out here in profit and still look for the same trade in that same area. Only thing I don't like this tweezer top look. And like I said, like right before 500, a lot of times you see some people front run that level. So I was at 97. I was trying to front run that level. They front ran me by 1 tick. It happens. It's part of trading. We still made money here. Let's see if we hold. That Mattel chart's still going, by the way. Boeing is still ripping. Microsoft still looks good. Amazon pulling back a bit. We also, so another thing I watched, the 21 EMA, we touched it way back here, and we haven't touched it since. This isn't a great example of that, but I'm looking around, like Amazon, for example, hasn't touched it all morning. It's about to touch it for the first time. It usually gets bought up. Microsoft's only touched it once all day long, and it was just a wick into it, and it's been bought up. Microsoft's still sitting at the highs. IWM doing well, sitting, trying to hold VWAP in the EMAs here, basically flat, right above pre-market highs. I mean, SPY's actually doing better than Q's at this point. Look at SPY, which started off weak, and look what it's doing now. SPY's still strong. I think this could still come to here, and it's still a buy, even in anywhere in here. The only thing I don't like is the shooting star. Play back to here and go. If this fails, then you look for it to break and accept back under and go. I know we're coming to the end of the stream. Been live for a couple of hours. Gonna do it again tomorrow morning. Make sure you guys subscribe and set alerts. We're gonna do this thing again tomorrow morning. We hope to improve every single day. Hope to teach you guys every single day. Tape is still weak, JD. I see your comment down there. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of buyers just yet. Decent amount of sellers up there. See if it breaks any structure. But I'm gonna kind of watch and see if this plays out a little bit, and then we'll have to close down the stream for the day. But it's been we stayed out of bad trades. We had some good analysis there, and we had a winner. I always like a winner. Let's see if they buy this up. SPY made a new high just now. What's ES doing? ES, what is ES doing? They're buying ES still. Still buying ES. Amazon finally got down to that 21. I expect it to get bought up pretty soon. I almost want to lower my stop and risk a little bit more. Or stop out and look for a quick re-entry. That's a tough call. I'm going to take this off so I can see the EMA a little bit better. EMA 9 right there. I got a little bit below it. We were supporting off of it. A little bit below it, but still. Let's zoom out and look left, guys. This is still a strong uptrend. Could easily do this. Could easily do this. US still ticker X is popping right now. I think some Trump commentary around it. Let's see if we hold right here. I lowered my stop a little bit just short term. Just to give it some room. I still want to stop out in this area around break even, but if it I don't want it to wick me and then go, just based on what I'm watching it do here. And then once we see what kind of happens here, I'll put that stop back where it should be. I didn't like lower it way down here though or anything. Like I'm gonna have a green trade no matter what. Nvidia new high of day. Yeah, I want to stay in this trade because of that. There's Nvidia breaking out. So this was a beautiful setup. Let's go back to the 5-minute. We talked about this previous day high. I showed you guys the report on this previous day high. It does this 70 whatever percent of the time. We got the tweezer bottom on it. We almost gap filled, but basically this was your spot. And look, not only did you take off from there, but you've got all the way back to orb high, broken orb high. You got over pre-market highs here. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful move. How far? If you took the entry down here, that's a 1.5% move just on the stock itself. I bet that would have been a pretty nice move on options if you took like 142s, 143s, maybe 145s for next week. Amazon finally coming into VWAP, which is still up massively on the day. Walmart new high of day. Tesla's just hanging out. It's green, but it's just hanging out. Ooh, I gotta chill. AMD looking like it wants to try to come up a little bit, but Microsoft's coming back down. Yeah, mixed tape here. Right at break even. Let's see what happens. What are they doing to Apple? Oh, big down candle on Apple. Toast is selling off. So there's some news coming out. There's some conferences. The UBS conference is going on. Goldman Sachs is going on. Now you see, if I would have left my stop right here at 66, I would have got wicked out right there. So I moved it down just a little bit, just based on the current scenario. I mean, I got what? I think I trimmed at... I need to check my fill. I think I got like 16 or 17 points. So as long as I don't lose like, what, 7 points or so, it's still a green trade. So if it stays over 60. Some selling coming in on ES. We're just coming into the 21. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Sitting right here at break even on the rest. A couple points below now. Break even again. You wonder if it doesn't want to come back test here. QQQ is coming off the 21 right now. Nvidia's making new highs. Microsoft and Apple and some other names are coming in though, so it's a little mixed bag. Break evens right here. I could probably take it off, keep my win. It's so small. I'm like, I'm gonna be green on the day no matter what. Let's just hold on. Short of 480. Yeah, when I saw that tweezer top, It was like, ugh. And then this immediate rejection at that same area. Almost. This would probably be the better entry. But look, here you go. We're still hanging in there. And we're back green on the trade. On the rest, I mean, the trade's still green no matter what. I think I'm gonna move my stop to right here. This wick. Let's see if this immediately rejects here. I'd like to see that get back over. If it's gonna immediately reject, then I'm probably just gonna close it. Back up 4 or 5 points here. Oh, Nvidia is flying. Boom. QQQ is not. What's SPY doing? It's the IB back test right there too. I don't like that I immediately rejected the 9 right there, but it's between the 9 and the 21. Very trappy. Nvidia's flying. SPY hadn't even got back to the 9 yet. Still very bullish. What else? Google's at the highs. Amazon coming in. Still. Actually below VWAP now. Could be a lot of tape bombs coming out of all these different conferences. Goldman Sachs one's going on. The one in New York's going on. UBS is having one. All right, guys. I would love to see this trade play out the rest of the way, but I do have to close down the stream. What I'm going to do is I'm going to manage this. Everyone manage your own trades. I'm going to manage this. We're going to see if we can't get back up here. We're going to watch how this candle closes. And if we get back under this 21, this area, I'll stop out of this trade. Would have loved to get that trim at 97. We missed it by 1 tick. It happens. It's part of trading. But my thesis is still here. We're still in the uptrend. I'll still stay in this trade. I'm still in it now. 2/3 of my position still on for full disclosure. We'll see what happens. But I do have to shut down the stream. I thank everyone for joining in today. Tomorrow morning, same time, we're going to do this again. New webcam should be coming in at some point today, so hopefully it looks a little bit different tomorrow, maybe a little bit better. And we're going to work to make this stream even better. We're going to do it every Wednesday and Thursday starting out. We may change those dates around as it goes, but that's the plan right now. Every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Edgeful. Using Edgeful, trading, trying to make some money, giving you guys what's going on in the market. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. And there's the 21. What are we gonna do? I'm still in this. I think it's gonna take me out here. Anyways, I could just close it out right here. I'm watching to see what happens. I was going to close out the stream, but kind of seeing what's happened here. The smartest thing to do here would be to take it off at break even, lock in the green trade. I'm managing this in the way that I want to manage it because we'll just see what happens. But either way, with that, I do have to sign off, guys. I appreciate all of you. We will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks for tuning in. And there's links all below this video. Check out Edgeful. Follow them on all the socials. If you can find me on X, there's my, I just stopped out. Yeah, I just stopped out. It's probably going to buy it up. That's okay. Green trade, we're stress-free. We don't worry about it. We made a little bit of money on that. green trade. They're probably going to buy this back up. I'll keep my eyes on it. Either way, I'm out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Follow Edgeful on all their different places. Look for me on X, Maximiliano, EMP Maximiliano. You can find me on there. I've got an Instagram. I've got all the other stuff too. X is the main spot that I hang out. And we'll see y'all guys tomorrow. Appreciate everyone joining in.